Their birth rate is at a deficit. So if they can't get the police to police themselves, which means they won't police the public for what they won't police themselves for, they'll get a desperate, hungry, violent class to come in, create laws to make it easy to deputize them as the police, and then try to reround with this whole COVID thing later on down the line with a whole new police force in place that are not sensitive to the needs, desires, or the wants of the American public. That's what I'm concluding here. So remember, you heard it here first. A lot of what's going on as far as the relaxing of the laws in states like Illinois to allow people to commit crimes and not be held accountable, the changing of the laws in the state of Illinois particularly to make non-citizens police, people who are desperate and who will do anything just to be in a country, which means they have no problem with policing you to the point where we're back in slavery damn near. And the closing of all these different institutions that was once occupied by black people and other ethnic minorities in Chicago and other cities so that they can reopen them as places of refuge and asylum for people who are not even actually seeking asylum, people who are not even running away from anything, any type of persecution in their home countries. They just use the word as a blanket statement indiscriminately to justify taking of the resources of the American public and population to give to non-citizens as a way of ingratiating themselves into American society and being the instrument of oppression of the American people. Now, notice I'm saying American as opposed to just black people, because black people, first and foremost, are the first in original America. But more importantly, I don't think it even matters if you're black anymore at this point. I think that the powers that be have gotten so powerful that blacks, yes, are the canary in the coal mine. So when you see something happen to black people, it's just a precursor as to what they plan to impose on the rest of the mass. So to all people who are American or the citizenry of America, you need to stop being very, very vigilant about what's going on or what has happened to black people in America over the last few hundred years, because obviously that's the plan for you. Just a thought that was on my mind, and I just wanted to get it out to the public for you guys to consider, because I think that we're just at the beginning of something much bigger to come. And I think that people are going to have to choose sides. And I'm not trying to say this to incite anything. I'm just saying be prepared for whatever. Understand that self-preservation is the first law of nature. Be prepared to defend yourself, your family, your friends, your neighborhood, your community, your city, your state, and the American population as a whole. Because I think that we are at a crossroad where the powers that be have gotten so powerful that they dominate our food sources, that they're dominating all our politics. We don't have any independent thought in politics. All the politicians are on the take. They dominate all areas of human activity, whether it be entertainment. I mean, all your entertainers are completely owned, as you can see what's going on now with those who are not going to cooperate. They're going to go down. You see what's happened with Puffy. You see what happened with R. Kelly. You see what happened with Prince. You see what happened with Michael. They are whipping people into shape. They kind of control our resources, controls our thoughts, control our understanding, control our education, control all of our dialogue and discourse, whereas we're only talking about the things they want us to talk about, and we're only seeing it from the vantage point that they want us to see it from. So, people, you got to unplug. You got to pull back. You got to go inward. You got to start meditating. You got to start thinking internally and not get all your impact influence from what you see on TV, social media, or what you hear in the airwaves. Because if you do it that way, you're only going to think about what you're taught to think about. You're already speaking in their language, which gives them the advantage. Because when you speak in their language, you're going to think in their language. And you think in their language, you're going to think about what they want you to think about. So since we're subject to a particular language that may not necessarily be our native tongue, which means the ideas that we are experiencing is not necessarily our own individual ideas, particularly when we have to be educated by their curriculums, At least you can do is unplug every once in a while and allow yourself to be educated from internally from your soul, so you can connect with the source of all understanding, knowledge, and wisdom, and be able to navigate this terrain in a way that's going to suit you and your family best. I just had to put this out here because it was on my mind, it was on my heart. It's nothing specifically that I don't think it's anything in particular that prompted this. It is kind of impromptu, but on the same token, me watching how things are playing out in American society particularly, but not just American, becoming a one world government, it's becoming global. That's why everything you see on social media, or everything you see in the movies, all your actors are no more, they're not American anymore. At first I was focusing on how they're replacing Black Americans with immigrants from the UK and other parts of the world, in our major roles pertaining to roles that specifically call for our spiritual connection to be able to articulate them best. And that's why movies are failing so much. That's why sports are starting to fail. They're bringing people from all walks of life to come in and interject them into sports, and they're watering down sports to the point where the narrative that they're perpetuating is so irrational, and then our youth are so dumbed down they don't know how to articulate fact from fiction. So you're seeing it in the media, you're seeing it in sports, you're seeing it in movies. We've been replaced everywhere. And it's not just Black folk anymore. It's all those who understand the value of the original American mindset. From the baby boomers until now, they're replacing everybody. They're replacing all our understanding. They're even rewriting the history that we know so well. They're acting as if the history we just experienced 20 years ago don't even exist. Prime example, what's happening in hip hop. If you're my age, 50 and up, you know who created, who invented hip hop. You were there every day. And all of a sudden, you got young people who think Asians invented breakdances because that's all you see propagating. And now you got all these different people, whether they're Caribbean or Puerto Rican, saying they invented hip hop, when nothing can be further from the truth. We're living in an alternate reality, and we got to be very, very careful, because these people will stop at no end to completely eradicate our understanding, eradicate our lives in the event we don't go along with the programming. And we got to be prepared for whatever, to stand for ourselves. Understand that all it takes for bad to prevail is for good people to sit back and do nothing. My question becomes, what are you going to do? Peace, one love, all power to the people.